We have a very special guest in studio today. He is a pro MMA fighter, a former pro MMA fighter, a jiu-jitsu black belt at Revive Jiu-Jitsu, the great and powerful Jordan Dowdy. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, like we were saying off camera, I've been looking forward to actually sitting down and talking with you just because, I've seen you around for years now, but I just have actually never gotten the opportunity to really get to know you. So
it's crazy. It's like I was telling you guys before. I mean, I got into this in 2010 and I look up almost 2026 and just the way the sport and the names just exploded. The people you meet that you don't even physically meet. It's kind of nuts. It's awesome that the sport has grown that much, but when you've been in it a while, more people know you than you know them. And it can be kind of awkward because you don't want to say hi and how are you doing and all this stuff. But it's been quite an experience, especially as jiu-jitsu has exploded in this area. And I'm very grateful that it has, because what it's done for me, I'm glad it can do for others. I don't know what I would have done without a competitive avenue outside of college.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, what are some of those things that it's done for you?
So when I got out of school, I was always an athlete, and I was the first of my age group of my friends to graduate. And I remember sitting in an office in South County off Tesson Ferry, and all my friends are still at SIUE. I just felt so isolated, and I did everything right that they told me to do. I had to go to school. I had to do this. I couldn't get a girl pregnant while I'm in school and get your degree. I did all those things, and I found myself sitting at a desk going, man, fuck this. This sucks. This isn't what it was promised. Like, I'm supposed to be here. I was 23 years old, and I was around a bunch of middle-aged women in an office that hated me because I was educated. And I was so angry, and I needed some type of outlet. And when I was at SIUE, I dated a girl from Hillsboro, Illinois. And at the time, whenever I was talking to her when I first met her, she's like, yeah, I'm friends with Matt Hughes. He's from my hometown. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, she's just talking, whatever. So I go over to their house one day, and he walks in with his wife, and I was like, oh, like, this is real.
You guys are like friends.
So that's when I really got drawn into the UFC and watching it. And so also my cousin also was a huge Matt Hughes fan. So I knew who he was. But when he walked in, I was like, oh, this is real. And that kind of became my connection to something I wanted to do eventually. That years down the line, whenever I had graduated and time became available, I needed that outlet. And my brother Jake found one in Granite City. And that's how I started that whole journey.
So did you start at the Hit Squad?
No, I started at what was called CMMA Fighting Systems. My first coach was Steve Knogle. About 2010 to 2015 range, there was a lot more smaller gyms. They've kind of consolidated into some of just the bigger ones now, but there were a lot more smaller gyms. The training was a little more old school. There wasn't the jiu-jitsu that there is nowadays, but there was definitely a lot tougher old school mindset in there, and our gym versus your gym. And in some ways I do kind of miss that, but that was where we had all started until that closed. 2017 that closed. And then that's whenever our group moved over to the Hit Squad.
Okay. And then you were at the Hit Squad, and the Hit Squad closed in 2019? Something.
What year did Kobe die? Because I remember going down there cleaning out my stuff like that week. It was like a January. Was it 2021 or 2020? It all blends together. The last 5 years is nuts.
Yeah.
So once that had closed down, then it just kind of became, my coach Nick was out at Revive. Mm-hmm. So I would go out there, and then I would just go to Wolves Den, which I was already going anyway. So to get everything you needed to get done, you had to travel. So luckily I built all those connections and all that. That's a big span of time. I'm just in like a short period, but that's where I have trained, and that's kind of the guys I've learned from, as well as War Room. I worked at the War Room for years whenever John Menke was there, and Brad Jones, and that's where I connected with Aaron Highfill. And so it all was pieced together. That's what you had to do back then. And even if you watched the old UFCs, there was a couple guys that would drive to this gym and get this in, drive to this gym and get this in. And that's what we had to do here. And now they're more modernized, where you can get almost everything in the gym.
All in one spot. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, because we got at Watson's, you got Muay Thai. Do they have judo? Is Phil?
No, it's just jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. They don't, and he doesn't want it to be like an MMA gym.
Gotcha.
He's pretty adamant about it being just kind of a jiu-jitsu place, and you can do kickboxing too if you want. But
actually, you bring up a good point. I trained at Kyle's for a while too, whenever we used to do Friday nights. So Kyle was always very experienced, very welcoming. He actually, I needed help for a fight, and he cornered me for one. And I heard he didn't corner very often, but Kyle is an amazing guy, and those Friday nights are really good. Because as Sean got to the UFC, we really were trying to branch out and get more safe training partners and around these guys that had been there, like Kyle, because Kyle has a lot of wisdom. And so on Friday nights, it was perfect to go up there, get some good technique from Kyle that I still use in my own practice. Like whenever I'm going all the time, I still use stuff he's taught, and just learn from him and use that for what we needed to get to. And he was always very welcoming and kind when it came to that. We're lucky to have it. A TAC Team's a big affiliation, and the head of it is on the East Coast and Jared Weiner, but I always viewed Kyle as the head of TAC Team in Midwest, even though we have a Chicago branch. Like, I feel like Kyle is the leader that has brought everybody up with him in St. Louis.
Oh, in St. Louis for sure. I mean, he was he brought in like Junior, and then he brought in, obviously Josh has always been under him and everybody. I mean, yeah, I'm a little biased. He's my coach. So, but I from being in this for 7 years now, and it just seems like everybody looks up to him, and it's like, I'm proud to say like, that's my coach for sure.
Yeah. And life works in a really weird way. So when I was in college, we went to go see, me and my buddies, a stupid movie called Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
hilarious.
You could not make that movie nowadays.
No.
And Matt Hughes had already opened his gym at Hit Squad. And so since I knew them, I went down there and I got a shirt, and I was like, okay, eventually I'm gonna get down there. This is before he sold it to He Who Must Not Be Named originally. And then I'm wearing the shirt at this movie with my buddies, and there's a tornado in Edwardsville, or a warning or something, and the power goes out, and they have us all standing on the side and like on the bottom. And I'm wearing this shirt, and this guy goes, "Where'd you get that shirt? Do you train?" And I said, "I got this shirt when it opened. I'm looking to train after college." That was Kyle. And then there's this short Asian kid next to him. Turns out that was Josh. And all these years later, those guys have helped me so much and been really important to me at the same time. And standing out, or that first time meeting them, really stood out to me. And it was just interesting how it worked from there to where I have been now.
Yeah, so how many years was that before you started training?
That maybe come out probably a year or two.
Okay.
And then the first guy I ever fought for amateur MMA was one of Kyle's guys.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's crazy. Small world. So so how many fights total did you end up having?
I had 10 or 11 amateur fights, and then 14 professional fights. 14, about 25, 26 of them overall. Yeah. So
it's awesome.
Should have had more. There was a lot of issues with a certain promotion in town, keeping my contract locked up while I was in my prime. And that story's out there. People know that. And then on top of that, once that was finally alleviated, then COVID hit. And then a lot of the people that were in my age group, my weight group, they just stopped training, or they just were gone. And as I kept trying to get other fights, like, there wasn't really anything out there. And by the time it got to the point where I had the one that's considered my last one, and I've debated doing one at 40 because that's that Kelvin match. I did an actual full camp to see how my body would go. There's a lot more naps and rest days, but the thing about it is it's all there still. I can't go hard every day like I used to when I was younger, but it's learning when to go and when not to go. And also now picking the right training partners.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so important.
You might already be getting this now at purple belt, but if you're not getting it now, brown and black belt, there are no rest rounds really, unless you're picking another upper belt, because these guys are coming to kill you.
Yes. I mean, I feel that now, even rolling with, some of the tougher, blue belts, or what, some of the white belts that have been training for a while, and they come at you like a bat out of hell because they want to say they tapped a purple belt today. Yeah.
And it's like, you'll show up and that's your day to go train, so you're tired. You probably can't go all in that day, but you still want to get reps, and you're there for yourself, and you want to get some work in, and they're there to capture the title. I mean, just alone in that last Kelvin one, I had somebody bust my nose open, and I had to wear like one of those Richard Hamilton masks.
Yeah. I remember seeing you at team day with it on.
Yeah. Yeah. And luckily it wasn't broken, but it was somebody that I was kind of working with that was a blue belt. And I'm like, look, I just need to move. And then all of a sudden he decided to go 100% and try and cartwheel over me. And then I had someone else like I was rolling with. He's not a really good training partner at all. And I broke my finger here, and I had to kind of rehab it on my own and tape it. And since it's my index finger, I couldn't really hide it between the other. And so I'm just like, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to pick certain people. Like Adam Sella helped me a lot. So if I can roll with him and my coach Nick and just be in shape, I'll be fine. And then I was, but it's the lower belts, man, they'll hurt you more than anybody.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely feel more like I'm at risk for injury if I'm rolling with a white belt than I do with a black belt. 100%.
Well, and as much as the community has grown and everybody's getting better, I feel like there's a subset in that group that, you know, they'll watch Instagram, they'll watch all the instructionals, and they'll try and do stuff that's not basics. So most of the time when I'm working with guys, I'll just kind of get into position and let them work. A lot of that, my game is, you know, smash, pass, get to mount. And whenever I'm in mount now, they're always trying to do that 2 hands on the hip.
Kipping escape, yeah.
Yeah, and then try and come up on a single leg X or get some type of heel hook. And I just have to stop them and go, what are you doing? Like, put 2 hands on one hip first and get back to half guard. Like, you're not going to push me off that way. And so you're doing the 201 instead of the 101. I mean, you're not even trying the other one first. You're not even going to it. It's just, I'm going to go for this. And the growth is great, but I feel like some of the fundamentals are gone.
Yeah, I think people just see something on Instagram and then they're like, oh, I just want to try that. And they never attempt, like, because, you know, think about any move you've learned, you drilled it for numerous reps before you actually tried it in live training. At least I know I have.
I'll be honest. I mean, I stay away from that on purpose. When I'm like, I try to not watch stuff on YouTube or Instagram just because I know that, like, I'm going to want to try it, but I'm nowhere close to being able to do it. And right now I'm just in a position like, I just want to defend myself and not get tapped. How do I do that?
Yeah, that's really, surviving is the best part. My original coach, Steve, told me I can give you a baseball bat and teach you how to beat someone to death. But if I give someone a baseball bat and have you defend there, that's more important first. I got to teach you defense, and awareness and defense is really, really important. And the simple things that, you know, whenever we were younger and we first got into it, we all hated the shrimp the mats, the warm-ups, right? But someone showed up the other day to Revive, and I was trying to help them out. They couldn't even do the simplest things because they never did anything athletic. And I'm like, all this stuff that we do, like, I don't know about you, but if I get out of bed, sometimes it's a combat stance.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
every time I stand up from the floor, like playing with my kids, it's a technical stand up.
Yes, exactly. Right. And it preserves your back, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm postured. But things like that are some of the things that I think are kind of getting skipped over. And we all hated that as a warm up. Don't get me wrong, but just, it's like tying your shoes. The first time you did it, slow. Now you can do it without looking. So It's just like that. And when it comes to jujitsu, it builds over time, as you guys know. So the way I always describe it to people is like you're learning a new language. So just be patient with yourself. Today you're going to learn a word. You don't know what that word.
Sometimes it's even just a letter.
Yeah.
You know,
and you don't know what it connects to yet.
Right.
You know, so just be patient. You don't need to roll on your first day unless someone's really kind of cool. It's really dangerous. Tomorrow you're going to learn another word, or the next time you're in. Eventually you'll be able to put a sentence together. Cool. Couple sentences and then a paragraph.
Yeah.
And then the longer you're in there, the more paragraphs you can write a chapter. Everybody wants to get good quick. It's just not how it works.
No, it's just like anything else though, man. I mean, we were talking about golf. Like if I wanted to get good at golf and I'm expecting to go out and golf below par my third time out, like it's just not going to happen.
Oh, it's hilarious playing with people that think that though, because I get so mad. I'm just like, I've been doing this for 12 years and I still fucking suck at golf.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I got to a point where I was pretty good, but I was also playing 3 or 4 times a week. That was prior to kids.
I mean, there's still plenty of days I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 7 years that I'll leave that gym and I'll be like, man, I fucking suck today. God damn.
Yeah. There's been tournaments that I've won that I didn't win around in my gym for like a month or 2 months before. And it just shows the caliber of the competition team that we have. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I would be afraid of golf because it would be the new thing I would be competitive with myself at. So
it's just way more time consuming. That's the problem. I just can't find 5 hours.
It's so mechanical too. Like if your swing's off by like a centimeter, you're fucked. Yeah, it has to be rhythm and time. Like, I mean, same thing with doing jiu-jitsu. You got the timing and when you pick and choose when you're going to shoot or not shoot, or when you're going to go and do something, like you got to be on and 100% committed to it. As soon as you start hesitating or thinking about it, you're fucked.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I always say, like, I was talking to someone the other day about, just he was trying to hit a double leg, and I saw what happened, like in real time. I saw what happened to him, like, because it's happened to me many times, where you shoot in and you get a great shot, and you're like, oh man, I'm almost like celebrating because I didn't think I was gonna be able to get here, and that like half second of me like, oh my god, I'm here. He sprawled on me, and I'm fucking bottom of turtle. It's like take that like quarter second to be like, oh fuck, I got here. I didn't think I was gonna get here, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's like, no, I should have turned the corner and taken him over. But it's just those like little things that you just learn over time.
Yep, and we've all been there. Have you ever rolled with Sal Woods?
No.
Over at Head Knot. So he used to train at CMMA with me. And when I started, I got in on a shot and on him like that after a handful of months when I finally started learning something. We were sparring day, right? He stuffs the takedown. He throws his gloves on the floor. He's like, we're going to fucking get this right. And he goes over and he gets a kick pad. He's like, do that same shot, but run and knock me into the wall. And we did that for like 5 minutes. And he's like, the next time you get on me and you don't do that, you're not helping me out at all. And I was like, okay. Cool. And so that was the start of like my wrestling actually being more committed and working. But, at the time I was just kind of like, oh, he's investing in me. So it helped a lot. But again, the hesitancy or, oh man, I got here. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel like we've all felt that before. And then that half second, you're fucking gone.
Yeah.
You missed your opportunity.
It still happens, even if you're really experienced, if you're trying a different move or like,
oh yeah.
I always call it the move of the night, when people roll and they're trying to hit you. And I'm like, you ain't hit me with the move of the night. That's disrespectful. So, right.
Yeah. I definitely, if I ever hit the move of the night on someone, I'm like, you got to make them know that you're like, oh, the move of the day, whatever it is.
We used to say that's the move. Remember, white men can't jump.
Oh yeah.
Don't let him hit you with that move.
Yeah. That's the move. That's the move. Yeah.
And Kyle should have a bell for that too.
Yeah. Have you seen the bell at Kyle's?
No.
So he recently put a bell on both upstairs and downstairs, and it just says the devil's handshake above it. So anytime you get wrist locked, you have to walk up and ring the bell.
Oh, that was there the last time I was there.
Yeah. And so
that was on team day when I had to wear that mask. That's right.
It's like changed the culture of the gym. Everybody's just hunting wrist locks, because they want to make the guy go and ring the bell.
Those suck.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like it's just like the biggest, like, kind of like, fuck you, like, oh, you got me with that. God damn it.
And they're there a lot of times. You just don't think of
100%. Like, and Kyle makes you very aware of it. And if you roll with Kyle, like, he's just hunting wrist locks from fucking every position, and he made a good point to me early when I joined Kyle's. It was like, if you control the joint, you can submit or you can attack the joint, or let me think. How am I trying to say this?
Whatever joint you want to attack.
Yeah, whatever joint you want to attack, you have to control the one above it. So if you're controlling his elbow, you can attack the wrist. And I was like, oh, so if I've got this guy's elbows trapped, then I can crunch the, gooseneck the wrist. And that's like the only way that I ever hit wrist locks now. It's just like, if the elbow's trapped somehow, or I've immobilized the elbow, then you can just go hunt that wrist.
There's just something about a wrist lock though that just makes you want to just hit somebody.
Oh, for sure.
You're just like, you fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the work.
It's like you did that because you're tired.
Yeah. You just looking for the easiest fucking thing you could get.
Yeah, exactly.
Path of least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Wow. So, so when was your last fight?
February of 2021.
And so COVID really kind of put a damper on everything, huh?
Yeah. And then also there was a lot going on at that time for me. So when I was done, I just felt relieved because the COVID wait, one of my best friends, I was on the way to sparring one day. I got a text message of his obituary and I was like,
oh shit.
And so like he moved away and because just jobs changed, but he was at the Ameristar. And then I have a group of friends that all play games online. They don't really do what I do, but what Paul did, when he was in town, he did train at Wolves Den for a bit. And so he had some health issues and got ahead of it. And then he moved away and he always usually tried to find a way to get a hold of me the week of or come out and surprise me. And in a fight camp, you're pretty exhausted a lot. So at the end of some of these hard training sessions, your emotion is pretty raw. But I just remember getting in the shower after those hard practices and going, man, he's not going to be here for this one. And so like even warm up in the back, I got emotional thinking about it. But because my world had changed, I had a dog I had to put down in that time period. There was just a lot in that COVID year. Everybody had a lot going on.
Mentally, that was just a shit show for everyone.
Yeah. And then also I had a fight prior to that I had dominated. And someone threw a Hail Mary kick and first time I ever dealt with a concussion in a fight. So I had to overcome that. So when people look at fighting, they think, oh, you got to win the fight. There's so many fights before the fight. You got to win your health fight. The time away is a big issue too, because it's always like, it's not like there's a game next week. or a tournament next week. So when I see people not doing these jiu-jitsu tournaments that want to compete, like you did 2 in a row, like 2 matches, right? Like you're okay. Like there's like, you can always do more. In a fight, you have to heal, come back, and then find another contract and have everything else line up. And in that phase, when you lose 1, you're like, well, shit, I got to win 3. So I've just added a year and a half, if I'm lucky, to my timeline. And at that point, there just wasn't enough time left. And Sean's had taken off, and I was about 35, and I'm like, they ain't calling me at that point. So,
yeah, so is that the mentality a lot of fighters have? They lose 1, they got to kind of win 3 to get back to where they were.
Yeah. Yep. Now, it's not always true. And there's a lot of guys that will take, just easy fights to try and get on Contender Series or something. But they definitely want to see finishes and streaks. So if you lose 1, then, man, I got to get, because unless you're a heavyweight or you're something really special from like another country, they're not going to have you in there if you're like 10, or sorry, like if someone's like 10-8, they're not going to have you, right? It's just, the only way that happens is if someone was like a world champion kickboxer and then came over into the sport. So it was kind of debilitating to get going. And the last fight I had it was a guy that I wasn't even supposed to fight. Like that was an easy fight, but that was the only one they could find. And I'm like, I don't want to be fighting these bums like some of these other guys do. And just everything just wasn't lining up. And so I was sat back, and the only offers I was getting, since I fought in Bellator 3 times, was short notice fights. So what Bellator and all these other places would do, I got offered to fight Alex Pereira once on LFA.
Whoa, really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so they're like, it's 2 weeks. And I was like, I know that name. This is before anybody really kind of knew who he was. And I looked at him, I'm like, he's 2-1. So I look at it and I'm like, oh, I know who this dude is. I said, that's 1 week of training, 1 week of cutting weight. And I go, can we get a full camp? And they're like, no. Not knowing who he was, I would have taken it if I had 8 weeks, because that's just the mindset I was in.
Yeah.
But the way to build guys is to give them a date. They train as much as they can. About 3 weeks out, they start looking to fill it. Short notice guys that have fought in other shows. And that was what I was getting. So it was to the point where people would message me just for those opportunities instead of giving me a full run.
Man, that's a great way to just get hurt and get your ass kicked.
Yeah. And, there's guys locally that would have kept doing that just to make money. And then they went over to boxing and started doing it. So now the state's really kind of reined that in, because a lot of guys were really getting hurt doing it.
Man. Well, and you mentioned at that time, Sean stuff taken off. So you're the corner man for Sean Woodson. How long have you been doing that?
Me and Sean have been training partners for probably about 8, 9, could even be 10 years. I think there was a photo the other day of 10 years. And so me and him always vibe from the first time because we had the same mindset to train and 2 completely different backgrounds. But as I got older and I was training at Wolves Den, and then he started taking off, it became contributing to his journey too, because that's what the team should be. You shouldn't just show up when you have a fight or anything. You're always in the room together, and then you build these bonds with people. And just a lot of conversations about some of the stuff that he was going to work on with not his wrestling defense and stuff like that. And then he just trusted me, and we just went from there on all his camps, all his work. And he got the call for Contender Series, and we went out there because that was a short notice one, and we cut like 30 pounds, and I think it was 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And when he won,
was that at 45?
Yeah. So I'm not if you've ever seen any of like the fights or any of the competitions I've had, I'm not the guy that jumps around. Yeah, we know I got it, because I expected to win. It's just, I'm kind of envious of the guys that can go high, low with that. But to me, it's just, I kind of expected, I'm excited, I'm happy, but I'm not going to be jumping around. But when he won that with that flying knee, something came out of me. Doesn't usually do it because of just the week we had. And so it's become a big part of my journey too. I had someone the other day, it was at the NFA show. They had me on the red carpet, and they asked me where the Kelvin match ranked in my all-time like accomplishments. And I'm like, it might be 6 or 7, because I count the stuff that we've done in that too, because now that I've been there, it gives me a different perspective. Even though I'm not the one in there competing, I am competing through him, and the network that he has, Evan Elder has, all these guys have, wasn't there for me. So the doors are now open, but now that I've seen it, I can step back and look at what this area actually is, what it has, what's important, and what people need to do to get there.
Now, are you are you looking and actively looking for other fighters to corner and train and get ready for that type of level of fighting?
I help some people every now and then, but in order to do that, my own training has to take a hit. And with work and everything now, it's kind of hard because fighters don't really pay the bills. Like when Sean fights, he'll pay me at the end, but most guys don't want to pay for $20 for 30 minutes of work or whatever it is. The way around that would be to have my own team. And I'm blessed to be able to go in any gym in this area and be welcomed. But there's something about having ownership of my own that I don't have.
Is that something you want to pursue in the future?
I am currently working on some things to see if that can be happening. I don't have like any news to break, but I'm definitely pursuing a path to see if I can make that happen. And the first start of that is an LLC and a business checking account. And then just seeing what lines up.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man. It's exciting. I mean,
well, we've got some small SBA guys too. If you ever need anything like that we can connect you with in terms of getting set up that way. So just let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, if it does come to fruition, come back on and we'll promote the shit out of it for sure.
Sounds great. I've seen a lot of guys start opening gyms that if they can do it, I can do it. It just comes down to what startup would be. And I have the mind for it. I have the ability to produce winners, but I need to also cater to the casuals because the thing the old school gyms didn't do that I was telling you about earlier that closed down was they didn't have legitimate like jiu-jitsu programs in them. That's what kept it. Now they taught it, but they didn't have like usually a gi program or a full-on kids class. Like those have to be the foundational of anything because those will pay the bills.
I was going to say that's your moneymaker when you're a business. Because I mean, if you have a fight gym, like how many of those of the people that attend the gym are in this area are going to be pro fighters that are going to move on to the UFC? It's going to be a small percentage of them. So, but you need the rest of the room to fill to actually pay the bills and keep the lights on.
Yeah, and what I enjoy most about jiu-jitsu compared to fighting is fighting gets a lot of different people. You'll get angry people, you get people looking to compete. The entry into fighting is not as big as jiu-jitsu, but to me, when I'm on the mat at Revive, I'm going with parents who signed their kids up and then they started. They're a lawyer, they have a family, or they're a real estate agent, or they worked this place. They haven't competed in anything like ever, maybe since high school, if they even did anything. And now they're in there actively learning. They're a part of the team. They'll actually help you get ready because they're getting good. And then they sign up for a tournament. That's more balls than fighting to me because the guy that signs up for a fight already wants to fight. A guy that has gotten good enough to feel confident in themselves to have the courage to sign up to compete in front of his team. That's more ballsy to me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was talking about a friend of ours, Mark, who's he's a professor at WashU. I just trained with him back when I trained at Finney's, and then I went to Watson's, and and then all of a sudden he showed up a few years later, put the white belt back on, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting back into it, and he just got his blue belt recently, and then at the most recent IBJJF, him and I were talking in the locker room, and and he's like, I'm kind of thinking about doing that tournament. I looked at there's two guys in he's like 50. He's in Masters 4 or 5. He's like in his 50s. And he's like, I've never done anything like this. I think I'm going to sign up and do, and I was just so pumped and happy that he ultimately decided to do it. And, you could tell that it didn't go his way, but I mean, just for him to get out there and compete, you could tell he was like proud of himself and he was happy. And it was just so cool to see. And I was like, man, that takes some fucking balls, especially at in your mid 50s to just go sign up for a jiu-jitsu tournament. Like, and there's a lot of guys that are, in 20, they'd be scared to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing to me when they do that because it's the amount of courage it takes. And really, that first one is, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's like you have to feel it to know. You'll elevate from it no matter which way it goes. But what I've noticed with a lot of guys, especially if they're like really hardcore into it, is they tie their personal value and worth to their competition performance. And those are two separate things. Some of the best coaches in the world weren't very good at competing, but they could help their team and coach in other ways. It doesn't create more value for you if you're awesome world champion people like you, because the people that liked you before, whether you were that or not, are your true friends. Everybody else is just circumstantial. And as long as someone competes, like to me, as cliche as it sounds, you've already won because you're going to put yourself out there. And if you do it again, you're going to know more next time. You've grown from that. And just breaking out from the monotony of just day in, day out life to challenge yourself. That's something I highly respect.
Oh, 100%. And then especially like when you're getting ready, like after maybe you've done a tournament or two, but like and you're getting ready for the next one. Every single time I compete, I just feel like yes, okay, maybe I get a little bit better on that match day, but it's ultimately that, 4 to 6 weeks that I'm getting ready. Like that's when I always see these big jumps in my game. When I'm focused, I've got that date on the calendar. That's the day I got to go out and do this. So I'm going to, the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'm training balls to the wall as many days as I can every week. And that's when I always see these big jumps in my game. And you do that enough over time and you're going to get significantly better.
Yes. And every camp should grow you. So, I mean, when people aren't in there other than when they're training for something or whether it's a fight or a tournament, you're missing out on a lot because you'll find stuff that you haven't used in 2 years that you're hitting again. And you're like, oh, I forgot that was in there because I train with all these guys and they know my stuff.
Yes.
For that last match, the gyms I train, everybody kind of knows my game. And then some new guy came in that was a 4-stripe brown belt at Revive. And I did a round with him and I did whatever I wanted. And I'm like, oh, I forgot these guys know all my stuff. So it's just, that's why cross training is kind of important, but it helps you remember the bread and butter stuff whenever you get to cross train inside and outside of just competition training.
And, cross training, from my understanding, it was not as widely as accepted now as it was, or it's way more accepted now than it was years ago, probably when you started. Is that correct?
Yes. And I think a lot of that changed with the TAC team guys.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think the Gracie system, the Humaida guys, they always trained within their network. And thing is, we would always let them come train with us, but there was always we don't want to lose our guys somewhere else. Whereas my coach, Nick, every time I wanted to go train somewhere, he's like, go do it. Go do it. He knew I was coming back. Go see what you learn. Go test yourself. Just come home. He wouldn't even need to say that to me. It's just like, I know you're going to be here. So go get what you need.
I mean, yeah, I love the opportunities. I've been going up to Revive usually on Thursday afternoons. And it's just, I've trained with some of those guys before, but like, they don't exactly like, I can do my kind of A game stuff on them because like, hey, they're not training with me all the time. And they're not used to this when the guys that I train with on a weekly basis, like I got to come up with new things because they know what's coming.
Yep. And Revive is crazy because there's just some nights you just have no rounds that go very
it's a
easy
tough
at
room.
all. Yeah.
Especially if you're sub 200 pounds. It's a big room.
Yeah. Most of us are,
you guys are
bigger
big boys.
guys.
Yeah.
So that always kind of helped me too, but I like rolling with some of the smaller guys because I try not to use my weight because they usually move more technical. And people get their feelings hurt when I say that, but they usually are more technical. And in fighting, women usually are more technical than the guys, just how it works from my experience. So especially in the gi, like it annoys the hell out of me to roll in the gi and just have someone hanging on my collar because I'll just be heavy, but I want to see what they're doing because they're usually more technical. Whereas us bigger guys, we have a few things that we can do to create momentum and get up and smash you. But I like the variance of training partners that we have in our network now. And I think Midwest Jiu-Jitsu is vastly underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Nationally.
I agree. I mean, now when you were fighting, did you train in the gi at all?
I did. I lost a fight that I was dominating and should not have in like kind of a fluke armbar. And so I was sitting there and we're all eating afterward and Mop's with me. And I go, how the fuck did that happen? I go, what do I got to do to fix that? And he's like, I do think you need to put on the gi. And it's weird to think of him saying that now because most of his gym is no gi. And he was right because what the gi did was it slowed it down. So it made me more aware of body position and things I'm not giving up compared to the mad scramble that is no gi. Especially if I've only done MMA, it's about getting the next position and doing all that. But when I learned to use the gi for control and making people bear my weight, it helped me slow down my no gi game to a point where I'm almost 40 years old. I don't need to be running a race against some of these guys and scrambling constantly. I mean, I still can, but I would rather be smarter with it and more tactical. And that's what elevated my game to that next level, was putting on that gi.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's I hated the gi when I first started training, I wrestled in high school. So, I just having the thought of having somebody like being able to hold on to my clothes was just like such a foreign idea to me. And then over the last, it didn't take that long before I started liking it, but over the last year is when I've really dove more into like using the lapels and using some more of the grips and stuff. Cause my whole journey before this, I was like, I just want my game to be the same gi as it is no gi. I want to be able to do all the stuff that I do no gi. I just want that to be my game in the gi. And something like this past year, I was like, I don't have any sort of like open guard that I feel confident in. So like, that's what I'm going to work on this year. And that's what I've worked on this whole year, 2025. And I feel like I've seen a big improvement in just like my abilities and in the gi for sure.
And that's one thing I think people are kind of short-sighted on is some people will be no gi only or gi only. And if you're a no gi guy and you put the gi on, you roll with a guy that only does the gi, it's the most annoying thing in the world. I think you got to do both.
Oh, I agree.
And you'll be better at one, and one's going to suck. And in one, you're going to get beat by people that you're going to think you shouldn't get beat at, but it'll make you better overall. Do you have a preference?
Oh, all I've done is gi so far since I've been in it. So that's all I really know. It's nice because I've got good grip strength. So it's nice being able to grab a hold of a lapel and not having someone break it.
It's crazy how different that is just for grabbing control. Some of the intricate things they're doing with lapels and loops now. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with. It's not really my game, but my game is always when they do that, I just make their life hell. I'm just going to be heavy and try and smash you and wait out your grips.
Yeah.
And it can make for some boring rounds, but it's the same thing with these leg lockers in no gi. They get all frustrated because they'll try and call stalling on you if you're in guard and they pull guard on you. And then I try and pass and they try and do an underleg on the hook and I reset back to neutral. And then you do it again and they do that again. And then they're like, oh, that's stalling. And I'm like, I don't owe you my leg, but all the rules benefit them. So it's the same thing. You have to play the rule set and then I'm not going to give you what you want. So we might have a boring round, especially if I don't know you. Now, if you're my buddy, if you're Dan Shukart, Nick Sanders, Adam Sella, okay, I trust you. We'll see what we can come up with here because we're just having fun. But if I don't know you, I don't owe you any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of rule sets, a lot of them jiu-jitsu guys we've had on, is there a specific set that you prefer over another?
That's a hard question because people will often bitch about whatever rule set it is, but if you signed up for it, you should know the rule. And one thing I see people not do, especially as I've been reffing local tournaments with the IBJJF style, is they're in such a rush, they're not collecting points. If you're going to pass, don't immediately jump to the next thing. Collect your points. Like the most overlooked point score is the knee on belly.
Easiest one.
It's there all the time. And I use it all the time in my game just because it's, I'm going to smash them before I go to mount. The sub-only rule set is kind of cool. The only issue is I think there needs to be some kind of variance to how people judge it. I like the way Adam does it.
That's what I was going to say. I really like how Adam's rule set for that, how he kind of gives you points and stuff for that. Like, I like that.
So the way that document that was written out, I finished that up because they had the concepts of it. And I'm like, guys, this is what we need to send everybody because everybody's always going to complain, always going to be a little confused. So if it's equal and someone has a scoring move, but there's no other score, we have to give that merit too. So it's tiered. Like obviously a submission wins, submission attempts. If they're tied, who controlled, who did this? I like the tournament style ones. The only issue with those can be really hard, especially as I've reffed, to call those sometimes, especially with these young kids because it's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a mental scoreboard.
Yes, and it's easy to miss something, and when you're watching something else. I like both of them. I think the one gi is hard to watch for the casual. So I'll have friends that go to Adam's show and they're like, I liked all of them, but the gi matches. Like, yeah, I get it. Cause the rest is basically wrestling with submission. I like both. I would like to do more IBJJF style tournaments, but they're just too damn expensive to do anymore.
It's crazy.
Well, and these guys they'll sign up for like Nashville or Chicago and they'll have 2-3 people in their bracket. I want a full bracket, man. I don't want to go up there and buy me a medal.
Well, that's the thing, because we were looking at it when we were at it, when he was competing in it. He's like, well, have you thought about it? I was like, yeah, but if you go and look at my weight class as a white belt, there's no heavyweights at the Masters.
Yeah.
As a white belt. Yeah, Masters 2, probably.
At least that tournament there wasn't, yeah.
For which tournament?
That was at IBJJF St. Louis.
Okay, yeah. So I have a hard time with those two. Because when it came down to that, it was either I was going to sign up and do it if Marcel was in it. And then when he wasn't, I didn't. So, because I had won that the year before and he was injured. So that was the only match that really I wanted to do.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah. And since then, I got to roll with him one time. I like him. He's a real nice guy. But I just want that challenge. That's why I like the bigger tournaments when I have the money to do so. The Pans, the Worlds, I really like those.
Have you done ADCC at all?
No. I wouldn't mind doing it. It's just another thing to pay for. That's just kind of hard to do. Like when I was a brown belt, no matter what belt I got, people always talk shit because of my background. So I was like, okay, well then I'll just win everything at brown belt. Then what can you say? And then I did. And then when I got black belt, then I've been more injured than ever. It's just kind of how it goes. But I've done one major tournament at black belt, but it's just been hard to. When you look at it now, as much as everything's gone up to spin, I was wanting to do after that match with Kelvin, Worlds,
which was like last weekend or
I was looking to do that, and it was going to cost me like $3,000 to do, and I'm like, that's just hard to do right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with the travel and the tournament itself is going to be $300-$400 probably, and then the travel and the hotel and going to Vegas in Vegas, I think. Yeah. So it's like
food, and if you're going to be in Vegas, you're going to go do a couple things, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So it makes it really hard to do those things.
Yeah, I've never done a major. I would like to. I know there's some guys in some TAC Team. I think Kyle and a few other guys are talking about doing the one in Austin in February. I'm considering doing that.
They're so much fun. And what's great about doing those big tournaments is when it comes to a tournament, the best guy doesn't always win on that day. But if you can go on a run and even just getting on the podium on those is a good day. People get upset if they don't win the whole thing, but anytime you can just get on the podium, it's a good day. And I will say that a lot of us, whenever we go out, do a lot better than we realize because of the training room we have here.
Yeah.
And Cody Kellison was the first one that I remember at brown belt going and winning Master Worlds. And I was like, oh, that's available to us here. And it's kind of like, you know how someone can break a world record and then 2 years later, someone else breaks that world record and it's been set for all these years. But after someone did it, someone else did it. And then after that started happening, more of us started winning those. And that was the first one I remember. But once you see it can happen, then you believe it can happen. And then we all made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool because right around the same time as, I think it was right around the same time that Adam had his thing. Wasn't Cody over in Ireland?
Yeah, he went to, I think he did the ADCC in Ireland or something. Yeah,
and he won
that. Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
And we have those guys in this area. You know, they're all really good. And a lot of it just comes down to styles. Like I could go against someone and beat them, and then he could go beat my coach Nick, and then my coach Nick beats me all the time.
Right.
You know,
it's like the MMA math or jiu-jitsu math just because this guy beat this guy doesn't mean you're going to beat that guy.
Right.
And, it's just like the math doesn't work out. The styles make the matchups.
Mm-hmm. And the ones I won were sometimes very narrow, like by just a single advantage, because I almost got a takedown and nobody else did anything, which can be kind of boring. You want a little bit more, but it's like, even in fighting, when I tell these guys, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. I'm like, well, the other guys train too. They're getting all really good. And it's just working within the time you have for the rule set, to try and prove the most to get the nod. Because, we all want to finish, but it's tough to do that.
Right. You're not going to put yourself in jeopardy to get there.
No.
Or like doing something stupid for like a home run move when you're really putting yourself at jeopardy.
Unless you need to, because you're behind.
Right.
And this is my one shot. So,
yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, if you fall behind, especially in the gi, almost impossible to come back unless they mess up bad.
Yeah. There's like there's a statistic out there that like, if you're the one who scores first, you're like 85% chance you're going to win or something, something like that. It's like if the guy that scores first wins like 85% of the time.
And that's why
something like that.
I always like my wrestling, because I would at least shoot and get my 2 points. Yeah. And if they just wanted to hold on to me, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I always joke with Nick, I'll get a tattoo of a watch, and if they're going to stall in the gi, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. That's good.
That's funny.
So when you stopped fighting jiu-jitsu, like, is that when did you compete in jiu-jitsu prior to fighting, or did you start competing in jiu-jitsu after you were done fighting?
I competed in jiu-jitsu as a purple belt because Nick was kind of urging me to, because he's like, you could be a world champion. And he was right. I was a brown belt, so whatever that's worth. But there was one tournament in particular out in Kansas City there was 7 people, and we did 6-7 minute rounds. It was a round robin tournament. And there were some really high level guys in it. And I ended up placing third, but just that experience really slowed down for me. And the way my first coach would explain it is like, do you remember when you first started driving and you would go to make a right-hand turn and you're like, oh man, I ain't got the time. And now you're like,
yeah,
you can make that turn 3 times. That tournament stood out to me because I had to learn to control my pace for 7 minutes. So I had 42 minutes of live, like basically wrestling type scrambles. And the way that carried over is I had a fight here in town, and in the first round, I did like this Kimura sweep. And whenever I did it, my foot went over the top, the complete top of my foot hit the mat. My shin bone almost touched here and it went, popped out, popped back in. And I couldn't feel it. And so what I had to do was kind of basically control the position and try and get a finish, but I couldn't cross my feet. I couldn't even use my foot. Like if you go back and watch it, it was against Josh Weston. When I get up, I'm kicking my foot. And so luckily I was trying to finish it there at the end, and I was over there, and Jeremy was about right where you're at on the other side of the cage. And I just kind of look at him and go, how much time's left? And he was like, oh, 1:30 left in this fight on the broadcast. And so I was trying to see if I could cross my feet and get a choke in, but I just couldn't. But that tournament, that 7 minutes where I got to slow it down and control my pace, won me that fight.
Wow. That's cool.
And that's why these guys, they get so in their lanes. Like, I'm only going to train MMA. I'm only going to do this. I'm like, you guys need to do tournaments because you can keep doing those. And all you're going to do is get better.
Right. Just that ability to just go out and compete. There's something to that rubs off into other things.
But to go back to the question you had, after actively, like consistently competing in MMA, this was a good way to still stay active in the sport, train and get better, because I was all about getting accolades people can't take from me. So, money comes and goes, titles don't. Like, there's new titles every year, but no one can ever take away the things I've earned. Like,
yeah, you're a brown belt world champion, dude. No one's taking that away from you.
Well, it's like even little things like whenever people get their blue belts, I go, that's awesome. Like, you earned something that no matter what, you always have and no one can take away from you. Like, it wasn't given to you, you earned it.
Right.
So I like earning things like that.
Yeah. Amazing. It's just so cool. Jiu-jitsu's, it's changed my life for sure. Because when I got into it, it was kind of a weird time. I was running a business with a friend of mine, a restaurant, and I got into it, and I hadn't done anything since high school wrestling. And, I just thought that, I was like, oh, I've been lifting weights this whole time. I never really stopped doing that. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to learn how to do this. Maybe I'll stick around with it. Maybe I won't, I don't know. I'm going to go, I wrestled. I'll probably be fine in here. And then I've told the story on here many times how Amanda Clifton just fucked me up, probably subbed me like 4 times in like a 3-minute round. And I was like, oh, like it just opened my eyes to it. And I was like, well, I'm fucking doing this until I can, until I know how to do that to somebody. And then it was like, well, by the time I learned how to do that to somebody, I was hooked.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love Amanda. Yeah. And it's something I think everybody should experience, especially males, because they definitely overestimate their ability to fight or defend themselves.
No, totally. For sure.
And whenever people want to try it and they're kind of hesitant, I'm like, no, you need to go feel it. I go, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. You're going to go in there and go, oh, I don't know shit. I need to fix this, or your ego won't take it and you'll leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it many times where especially when you get like the big, like bodybuilder looking guys in there and they just get manhandled by a guy that's like 150 pounds. They're like, you totally tell it takes a hit to the ego, and yeah, they're either there again the next day or you never see them again.
There's show muscle and usable muscle, and it's completely 2 different things. And some of these guys, whenever they go to try it, I'm like, look, just so you know, when you go in there, you're not as tough as you think you are. And jiu-jitsu has grown so much that a lot of really smart people that you would call nerdy are in there. So if you act like an ass, they're going to choke you out and then hack your bank account. I'm like, so just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
That's universal code.
Yeah. Like, we were in Nashville and we're standing in line to get into a bar, and the head of security was standing right there. He's like, hey, pulled us aside. Most unassuming person. Like, you look at him, you're like, you're head of security. It turns out he's a 2-stripe black belt. I'm like, what the fuck?
Where do you guys train? And, he saw my ears and, he was, and, he ended up, there was this big long line to get in the bar, and we sat there and talked to him for a few minutes. He ended up just like letting us right in and gave us like the whole VIP thing. And it was like a really cool, I was like, man, jiu-jitsu is just fucking awesome. Like the fact that, that was cool that got us that.
You were like, dude, come up to St. Louis and train with us.
Yeah. Well, he was trying to get us to go to the open mat at his gym the next day, but we both had to leave early in the morning. So, but awesome.
Yeah. It just provides such a great sense of community. And, I don't remember if we were talking about this before we started or not, but I felt like I'm 39. I assume you guys are in the same age group, right? We grew up probably in the best time to grow up. You're on bikes, your friends down the street. We would be on the physical phone,
call the
with
house
wire,
phone. Yeah.
talking to each other while watching WWF wrestling when it was at the time. And as we've gotten older, everybody's gotten busier. You have Facebook. A lot of this community and connections are gone. And as a male, that's very tough because most of us that aren't completely introverted, the rest of us want to network, be a part of something, be a part of a group. Jiu-jitsu has given that. I thought that was one of the big reasons why CrossFit blew up too. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people out there that are there's like a epidemic of loneliness or not direction, whether someone has a parent figure that's strong or not. Being in a room around, successful people, like where I train now, there's like lawyers, like I said, mortgage brokers, real estate people, Army veterans. Like if I ever really was looking to network something or I had an issue, if I was friends with somebody, I could get a lot of good perspectives there that I won't get just asking ChatGPT, which is a wonderful tool, but can make us all dumber in the end. And I feel like a lot of community-based things aren't just good for physical health, but mental health too.
Oh, dude, I couldn't agree more. And I think what both CrossFit and jiu-jitsu provide is, and the reason I think that these communities are so like tight and intertwined and just like everybody is so close is because we're all going through something difficult together. Like yesterday I went to, I do CrossFit as well. Amanda and I train at the same CrossFit gym. And
so not only is she kicking her ass on the mat, she's kicking her ass in the gym.
Animal.
It sounds like her.
Dude,
it sounds like her.
She's a freak. Like her score, in CrossFit, every workout gets a score, and we can get on the app and see the leaderboard in the gym for the day. She's always top 5, always. If not, she's not top 1 or 2. But anyway, what I was saying is what's the same about both jiu-jitsu, CrossFit. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other things out there that are like this as well. But the reason these communities get so like tight knit is I just think because we're all doing something really difficult together. And so there's something about that like really brings people close together. I can think of, like when I was in college, I was in a fraternity and, we had a, tough pledgeship or whatever, get into the fraternity. And like, I feel like I became such good friends with all those guys because we went through something difficult together. We're all doing it. We're all doing the same shit. We're all dealing with the same hard thing. And it's something anytime we all get together now, it's all still the shit we laugh about 10 years later.
Well, yeah, that, and it shifts your perspective. So some of the stuff that would freak out people that aren't hardened by challenge, they don't handle conflict very well. I mean, just even having basic conversations over disagreements, people really struggle with. And I think a lot of that comes from just that isolation. I really do.
Oh, dude, we see that more now than ever, especially online with, I feel like everything's so divisive with, politics and everything. People are constantly at each other's throats nowadays.
I feel like the internet has really made us worse.
For sure.
Like, at least I feel like there's a little micro generation between when I graduated high school in 2004 and then we had, Facebook and all that, but we had to go basically to a computer.
Yeah.
And then when the smartphone blew up, 2010, and there's people that have only ever grown up and known that. I feel like there's something missing there. And we, at least me, it's not just me, but you guys might feel differently. I feel like we kind of crave a time period and long for something that doesn't exist anymore, where it's simpler that way. It's more.
I was just talking to him about this the other day because I need to get a new phone. I'm like, fuck, I might just go get a flip phone. Like, seriously, I mean, maybe I'll keep this one for work and only have it for work. And when I'm not and then just have my bat phone that's a flip phone that people can reach me that I'm carrying around everywhere, like private line, because it's so easy to reach people these days in terms of getting connections. But no, I get what you're saying. I mean, shit. I miss being back home, running around with my friends, being outside playing. Like that's the biggest thing that I focus on with my kids is making sure they're outside playing. Like I didn't have the video games. They weren't anything like they are now, and you weren't playing online, talking to other people. But like that's the thing is like my kids have a game, they get 25 minutes, and then it's like, all right, get your ass outside and play.
And that was all you needed.
Yeah.
I feel like these things have fried our dopamine circuits.
Oh,
because
for sure.
I remember even being a kid, and if nothing was going on, I could just sit in my room and, you know, I could just turn on, if like Star Wars was on TBS, I could sit there and be present and watch it. And now if I can't just do that, I have to have like 2-3 things going on at one time. And I hate that. Like, I just wish I could just chill, but I constantly need stimulation. And that's kind of why I was somewhat successful. I would say what I did, because it kept me going the whole time. But I have a hard time sitting still now, even to this day.
The same way. My wife always makes the joke that I have the hardest time just sitting down and chilling. Like, I'm always doing something, whether we're sitting there watching a movie, I'm on my laptop doing something, or like I'm constantly in motion. And, you know, sometimes I think that's a good thing, but then other times I'm like, man, I just need to learn how to fucking, and then I'm like wondering why I'm like stressed out all the time. Like, I need to fucking relax a little.
Yeah, then you feel guilty doing it.
Yes.
Like, I love playing video games. Couldn't tell you the last time I really played one, but I like the story-driven games.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this voice in my head. I wish it would go away. If I'm playing a game, like, you're fucking wasting time.
You're a fucking loser, dude. You know how much shit you could be doing right now?
But like,
you know?
the last game I made time to actually play was the Indiana Jones game.
Okay.
That thing was amazing,
Really?
but I had to kind of piece it together. But there's so many games like that I would love to play, but there's a part of me that's like, dude, you're almost 40. What the fuck are you doing? When really, I should just be able to enjoy it, because it's just about enjoying doing the things I want to do.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I just started picking up the guitar. I played as a kid from 10 to 14 or so. And then, about 2 weeks ago, I picked up my old guitar, and that's just been like a new thing that I'm doing. I was like, maybe, all right, this is something I can do that is not a screen thing. And maybe I'm looking at my phone to look up on how to play a song or something, but I think that's a little different. And it's like, I think it's just good to have other things that aren't you're not doing it on a screen, or not on your phone or on a laptop or in front of something that it's constantly like just where you're just kind of numbing out looking at the screen.
Yeah, it's changed so much of our patterns. Think about what your life was like before you'd go to a friend's house, you'd pop in a DVD, and you guys would sit there and watch the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you sat down at somebody's house and you turn on a movie,
First thing, pull your phone out.
are you going to finish the movie?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
What has that done to our attention spans?
It's terrible.
It's killing being present, which I try really, when I get really overwhelmed, I try and hold a cup of coffee in my hand and try and do nothing else but go drink that coffee and realize it's warm, and kind of ground myself, like being present, or breath work. Because if my brain is built to where I'm thinking about probably 5 different things at once all the time, which is a gift and a curse. So I feel like that's not really helped it at all. And they're saying like, here, in 10 years, we won't even have phones. It'll just be like
in your head,
part of our neural process.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I want that.
Oh, well, that's the thing too. I think that's why I like ice baths so much. Cause it's like 3 to 5 minutes of just straight focusing on breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there is to it. As soon as I take my mind off it, I'm fucking cold.
And that's that same reason is originally why I liked fighting, because it was all this other stuff in life. If I had one big problem I had to solve, then I could focus on mostly one thing, not bank account, not bills, not this. The day of the fight, I would go in there and I'm in a cage, and there's just something about, and you guys probably have experienced this in various forms, especially you, whenever you've competed, hyper focus and all in. The issue with that is whenever that moment is over, the brain does this like big dopamine dump, like they call day after Christmas, right? So it's like after that Kelvin match, like work had slowed down and all my training slowed down, and I was just depressed all week. But it's
highs, low lows, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just what most of us deal with, which is why it's helpful to now. I feel like it's a lot better than it used to be to just call up a buddy of yours and be like, hey man, nothing's really wrong, but shit just doesn't feel right now. And then they're like, yeah, I'm there too. I'm like, well, I wish you weren't there, but it makes me feel a little bit better.
And I'm not the only one. Yeah. Misery loves company, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys had Dan on, but there was like a week where, man, it was that week, I think, afterward, where it was just like, well, what's next? If there's no direction as a man without feeling like you're chasing the next dream or purpose, which you don't need one right then. You're still doing to the next thing, but that's how my brain works. I called Dan like several times and I was like, bro, this week sucks. And so we were just talking about it. So he helped a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's what we love about this is like, we do it twice a week, and phones are off. We're just here having like conversations and being present. So
you find people struggle to hold conversations this way? because of that?
Not in here.
Not in here,
Okay.
honestly. We've had one. We've had
there
one.
was-
We've
geez,
talked
that
about it
was-
before. We've had one person that
it was brutal.
to get a
Yeah.
just we usually go for about an hour and a half depending on how the conversation's going. But man, it was like a struggle to get to an hour.
Yeah.
So we're like,
But everybody else has been pretty good at coming in here and just talking. I think it's because they haven't done anything like this before. And we're like, no, we want you to talk. And it's finally, they've got all this shit built up for so long that they're able to just spill it. And we're just like guiding them along the way. It's been great.
Well, that makes me feel better you said that because I thought I was talking
No,
too
no,
much. and not
no,
letting
that's
you
what we
guys-
want.
That's the whole.
So-
That's the whole thing. Is
That's the whole point of this.
This is to highlight you and get your story.
Yeah, we've done this long enough. People know what we have to say and talk about. You know?
I've repeated the same line lines over and over again at this point. You know?
Yeah. So no, that's the point. We want to come on and learn from people and have genuine conversations and learn more about them and let their stories get out. So it's been great.
Well, Jordan, this has been great having you in here, man.
Yeah, we
Really enjoyed this
Yeah.
conversation.
Kind of went all over.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
It's all good
that's what
though.
we like
That's what we
about
like to
this.
do. We like to, bounce around and get to know you and get your story. And but we really appreciate you and your time, and hope to get some training in with you sometime. But before we get you out of here, we always end the show the same way. So Pat,
Play a little game called the Tombstone Game.
Hmm.
Realize Jordan. What's it say on your tombstone?
I only had to pick one off the top of my head right now. Never wrong to do the right thing.
Perfect.
it's good.
That's good.
I like that. Awesome. Well, thank you again. And thanks to everybody at home that watched or listened to this episode. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That would help us out a ton. Click that like button, share this episode with a friend, and we will see you next time.